Hey guys, Omega Dark Mage here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my newly improved Mecha Phantom Beast deck. I kind of made some modifications to it, so yeah, it's a little bit different than the one I've been showing in my videos before. I'll probably make some new videos with this deck. I've been testing it and it's really effective. It's a little gimmicky, but it's really different than most of the deck profiles I've seen. So yeah, let's get right to it. I'll try and make it as quick as possible. Most of you should already know what mechas can do, so I really won't be covering their effects too much. I'll probably make a video explaining their combos afterwards, though, if you guys want. Alrighty, so now that that's out of the way, onto the deck profile. To start off, we have Tempest, Dragon Ruler of Storms. He's really good in a pinch, and he'll help you make a Draco sack, pretty much. Next up, we have our 3 Mega Raptor. He's like the searcher of the deck, and yeah, you can really plus nicely with him. He generates his own tokens when a token is special summoned, so that's really good. We have 2 Harriolard. You tribute a token, you special summon a Mecha Phantom Beast monster, pretty much, from your hand. He can also replace a token if a token is lost. We have our 3 Tetherwolf. He brings out a token as soon as he's normal summoned, so that's really good. We have our Cult Wing. We have 2, actually. If you special summon him, and there's another Mecha Phantom Beast monster on the field, including a Mecha Phantom Beast token, you can special summon 2 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens right away. And if you tribute 2 of them, you can banish, you can destroy and banish any, I guess, card your opponent controls, which is pretty good. Let's see, we have our Black Falcon. He attacks and instantly generates a token. He can also change your opponent's monsters to face-up defense mode, which is pretty good. Yeah, not bad. Our 3 Hamstrat, he's like a monster reborn. You tribute a token and he special summons a Mecha Phantom Beast, so that's really good. I like to open up with Hamstrat if I draw him out in my opening hand and lay him down. I lay him down face down. Yeah. I play him face down because he's really good. A really good card. He special summons 2 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens instantly, which is really good. Let's see here. Our Mecha Phantom Beast Stealth Ray. I run 1. He's like an MST pretty much. Yeah, and he's got good defense, so he's pretty good to open up with too. And 2 Valor. Valor, yeah, pretty good card. Negates our opponent's monster effects. And yeah, it's a tuner, so we can make some synchros with it. Although we don't really make too many synchros in this deck. Now for the spell cards. Dark Hole. Why not? Why not run this card? It destroys every monster on the field. And if you have at least 1 token on your field, your mechas won't be destroyed because of their effects. So, yeah. You'll destroy all your opponent's monsters and still have your mechas on the field. Seems like a sweet deal to me, actually. Next up we have 3 Swords of Revealing Light. Yeah, we are tri-wielding these swords. Yeah, it's a really good card. It stalls our opponent and makes it really tough for them to destroy our tokens in battle anyway. Really good card. I like this card. I haven't seen too many people use it lately, but it's really good for an offensive type stall deck. Yeah, I guess you could say this is an offensive type stall deck because we need a little bit of time to build a strong foundation, I guess you could say. Mechas they aren't really like that fast, so this card is really good to have. Yeah. We run 1 MST in this build. We have Stealth Ray, so 1 MST should be good. Yeah, I usually don't need more than one. Yeah, it's just there. Yeah, just in case, pretty much. Next up we have 3 Fires of Doomsday. I like these over Scapegoat, because they don't clog the field as much. Yeah, so that's a good card. And it helps protect our mechas. They work just as well as Mecha Phantom Beast tokens, except they don't raise the levels of our Mecha Phantom Beast monsters. Other than that, they're just as good. And they aren't affected by Royal Decree since they're a spell card. So yeah, that's pretty good. Next up we have 3 Supply Unit. This is a really good card. Supply Unit. Basically, once per turn, if any of your monsters are destroyed, you can draw a card. Yeah, you can draw a card, and this can be really good because you can stack up your supply units. If you have 2 supply units, when a monster is destroyed, you draw 2 cards. And if you have all 3, you get to draw 3 cards. This is a card your opponent's really going to want to get rid of with their MST. Yeah, because it's just such a good card. It really helps speed up the deck. It's really good. Next up we have 3 United We Stand. Really good because we spam the field with our mechas. And yeah, we spam it with tokens. So yeah, whatever's equipped with this gets 800 attack and defense for every monster on the field. So if you have 5 monsters on the field, that's 4,000. 4,000 extra attack and defense. That is ridiculously good. Ridiculously good. Yeah. You can equip this to any of your mechas. Even Stealth Ray. And you'll be able to deal some very good damage. Yeah, you should be able to deal very good damage. Yeah. Now onto the traps. Mirror Force. Yeah, we only run 1 battle trap in this whole deck. I guess the reason for that is, yeah, we're just so offensive. We don't need to be too defensive. We already have the Swords of Revealing Light for that. But yeah, I guess you could say this is like a troll trap card because we want our opponent to have the impression that we don't run any offensive trap cards. So if you happen to draw this, they'll probably attack carelessly, and yeah, you'll be able to nail them with this trap card. Yeah, it's a really good troll trap card. Yeah, since we don't run any other similar traps. We don't run D-Prisons, we don't run Fiendish Chain. Yeah, the only other traps we run are these, our aerial charges, recharges. And they pretty much special summon extra Mecha Phantom Beast tokens for us. Really good to have. Yeah. If we can keep up the tokens on the field, if we can spam the field with tokens every turn, we should be able to control the game because these mechas are really powerful. Once you get tokens on the field, they're really tough to deal with. If you can keep a constant supply of tokens coming in, and as your opponent wipes them out each turn, you're drawing extra cards thanks to Supply Unit, which is just helping you out more and more. I like this. I like this whole strategy with the tokens. And lastly, 2 Call the Haunted, just for a little bit of extra mecha shenanigans. Like let's say you don't have Hamstrat to bring back Cult Wing. You can use this to bring back Cult Wing, and then if you had another mecha on the field, Cult Wing's effect would activate and bring out 2 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens out for you since you special summoned him from the graveyard. So this card will help add a little bit of consistency to your deck, believe it or not. Next up we have Scrap Dragon for our Synchro monsters now. Yeah, pretty much what he does is, you get to choose a card on your field, and then you choose one on your opponent's, and you destroy them both, pretty much. Pretty good in this deck because we can choose one of our mechas, and if it's protected by a token, that mecha won't be destroyed. Only your opponent's monster will be destroyed, which is really good. Another thing Scrap Dragon can do for us is kind of clean up the clutter in our spell and trap card zones. Sometimes these things will get left behind because for this to leave the field, the monster that's attached to Call of the Haunted has to be destroyed. So if the monster wasn't destroyed, and let's say it was used in an XYZ summon, this card will be left behind on the field doing nothing. So you can always get rid of these if you go into Scrap Dragon. I rarely go into my Synchro monsters, but yeah, it's nice to have these as an option. The next one is Ally of Justice, Catister. He can pretty much get rid of anything that isn't a dark attribute just by attacking them. So that's really good. Really, really good. I like it. Good card. Now for the XYZ monsters. I'm running my Sky Palace. It's a really good card. I like it. Yeah, it destroys a card on the opponent's field and deals 1,000 points of damage. Really good. Next up we have Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. He doesn't destroy, but he deals even more damage. A whopping 2,000 points of damage, which is just ridiculously good. If your opponent has a monster that can't be destroyed by card effects or something, or battle, let's say, and you need to deal some damage, this guy can do it. Yeah, he can deal some very heavy burn damage. Now for a rank 9. I kind of don't go into this too often, but it's good to have it just in case. Basically, he has 4 effects, and you can use one of the effects each turn, as long as you detach a material from him. Yeah, he can banish a card that our opponent controls. Really good for getting rid of certain things that can't be destroyed. He can also, I guess, banish from our opponent's hand a random card. So if your opponent only has one card, let's say, and you know what it is, yeah, go for it. You can banish a card from the opponent's graveyard. That's good too. If they have a pesky monster in the graveyard. And he can also banish a card from the opponent's deck, the top card. If you know what that card is, go ahead and banish it. But don't just randomly banish a card if you don't know what it is. You have to have a good reason to use that 4th effect, in my opinion. Next up we have our ace, I guess you could say. 3 Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack. He can special summon his own mechas just by detaching from him. And yeah, destroy. Yeah, he can destroy any card on the field just by attributing a token, which is really good. Or any Mecha Phantom Beast monster for that matter, if you don't have tokens. Now we've got Big Eye, number 11 Big Eye. Yeah, he kind of lets us steal a monster from our opponent's team. Really good. Yeah, not a bad card to have. If there's something you can't beat, have that something join your team. Yeah, pretty much, and wreck your opponent with their own monster. We have a rank 6 here, Photon Strike Bouncer. Pretty good card. Yeah, I've used it a few times. Rarely go into it, but it is somewhat useful. Number 103, Ragna Zero. This is good if your opponent has like attack modifiers on their monsters. Usually I see this occurring when the opponent has like a field spell, like a Seal of Orichalcos, Scrap Factory, Gates of Dark World. The list goes on. So yeah, good card. You can destroy their monsters and plus by drawing a card. Really good. Black Ship of Corn is pretty good for, like, I guess getting rid of certain cards, like the Fire and Ice hands, because you're sending them to the graveyard, but you're not technically destroying them, so Black Ship of Corn can get rid of them safely. Yeah, and also it does 1,000 points of damage instantly, which is really good. Yeah, this card is underused, but yeah, it's found the spot in my deck. Lightning Chidori. This card would be so busted if it had a little bit more attack power. Basically, if when it's XYZ summoned, it sends one of your opponent's face down cards back to their deck, the bottom of their deck, which is really good. And also, if you detach a material from it, it can send one of their face-up cards back to the top of their deck. This can really slow down the opponent. Yeah, it's a really good card. Now we've got Exciton Knight. Evil Swarm Exciton Knight is pretty good in a tight spot. Yeah, he can pretty much destroy every card on the field except for himself, so long as you have less cards in your hand and on the field. So yeah, that's really good. And a rank 3, Wind Up Zen Mains. Zen Mains is good to defend with, pretty much. Yeah. I rarely go into my rank 3s, rank 6s, and rank 9s, since I only run a couple monsters that can be used for those summonings. But yeah, it's not bad from time to time to have something like this to protect you. And finally, the side deck. Volcanic Queen. This card can get rid of so many pesky cards. It's not even funny. It can get rid of a lot of seemingly unstoppable cards. I'm sure you guys have run into a few, like Obelisk the Tormentor. After getting the Hardened Armed Dragon boost, that combo is just so good. But this can defeat it because you're tributing the monster as a cost, so it's not technically an effect, which is why you can get rid of their monsters with this. Really handy. Next up we have Jinzo. I like him because he's a machine type monster, just like our other mechas. And he can pretty much negate all trap cards on the field. Really good against those burn decks that like to run just desserts. And other stall cards like, yeah, Threatening Roar and Wabaku. If they like to run cards like those to stall you, then Jinzo should pretty much keep them, yeah, keep them defenseless. Really good. I could have run Royal Decree, but I felt like I'd actually want to attack with this. You can't attack with Royal Decree, but Jinzo can actually attack. So that's good. And he can't be MST'd. Sometimes those types of decks will run an MST or two in their side deck, in case you have Royal Decree. So Jinzo works pretty well. Next up in MST, in case one MST doesn't cut it, we have a second one. I rarely use this, but it's good to have. Our next card, Mystical Ref Panel. Useful card if you want to steal the effect of a spell card, yeah, and apply it to yourself. Really good card. Yeah, not bad. I guess if your opponent was using one of these, you could kind of take this card's effect and pretty much use it as your own, which is why I like it. Yeah, not bad. Next up we have Royal Prison. Monsters cannot be special summoned from the graveyard. I like this card. Yeah, it kind of keeps a lot of annoying cards in check. Yeah, because sometimes your opponent is going to want to spam the field. or rather the graveyard with monsters, and then spam the field with those monsters. So yeah, this should help keep those types of strategies in check. Another good card against those types of strategies is Macrocosmos. Your opponent won't be able to send monsters or any type of card into the graveyard. As long as this is face up, nothing hits the graveyard, which is pretty good. Next up we have Imperial Iron Wall. Yeah, this card, so handy. If your opponent likes to banish monsters with traps like Deep Prison, this card says no. Nothing gets banished. And that's really good because our mechas, they can't be destroyed by traps, spells, or monster effects. But they could still be banished. So if you have this, it'll be that much tougher to get rid of them. Next up we have Goes in Match. Goes in Match kind of prevents either player from having monsters with more than one attribute. We run mostly wind attribute monsters, so yeah, this card works really well. Yeah, and it's really good against certain decks, like Elemental Heroes being the most notable. Not bad to have. Let's see here. Light Imprisoning Mirror. This will help you against Boojins, against Agents. Yeah, it's a good card to have. And Light Sworns, too. It pretty much prevents the effects of light monsters that are on the field or in the graveyard and negates them. Yeah, it negates all those effects, which is pretty handy. It really is. Next up, we have Light of Intervention. Really good card against certain decks, like Shadalls. I hate Shadalls. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, just give me a thumbs up, guys, if you agree with that statement. That Shadalls are annoying to deal with. Yeah, this card should keep them in check, along with Royal Prison. Next up, we have Rivalry of Warlords. It's kind of like Goes in Match, but for the type and not the attribute. This is pretty handy against like Evil Swarms, since Evil Swarms have all different types. So I like this card. Yeah, it's very, very useful against certain matchups. Another card you can use against Evil Swarm is Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. It does the same thing as Light Imprisoning Mirror, but for dark attribute monsters. Yeah, it negates their effects. And lastly, we have Black Horn of Heaven, which is pretty good for negating special summons for certain annoying cards, pretty much. Like number 86, Rongo Mayan. So yeah, guys, that's my deck profile. It's a little gimmicky, but let me know what you think. So yeah, Omega Dark Mage signing out, guys.